Good morning. It's great to have everybody here with me today. I hope that you were all able to open the link for the FIM warm up and you were able to follow along. Hopefully, you got your answers and you gave your effort, and then on the bottom, you filled in the correct answer that I gave you. It's been a long time without seeing you guys. Still not seeing you today. Hopefully, tomorrow, when we get Zoom up and running, 2 o'clock, don't forget to join. I'll be able to see you guys and we can talk about things and how they should be going. But I just wanted to pick up where we had left off last. We were talking about the customary unit of measure. And remember, here in the United States, we use that where we have to remember all those magic numbers like 12 and 14, 97, 63, 36, all those great numbers. We don't make it very easy. So just want to go over that really quick. I've got some example problems I want to do with you guys and go over some stuff. So first thing I remember, we did these index cards, and on the index cards we wrote inches. I'm going to abbreviate with the inches. We had done feet, and then we did yard, followed by mile. Now these are all ways that here in the United States we measure distances. What's not so difficult is when you're measuring a piece of paper, it's good to use inches, or measuring your foot, or maybe the size of a textbook. But then when you get to larger things like maybe the wood that you need to make a box, or the distance it is around a room, it might be really easy to measure in feet. And then when you get to large objects like football fields and hockey rinks and distances around a track, usually it's nice to be measuring in yards. And then when we're heading places like from my house to Cass City, it's always great to measure in miles. Well, sometimes you have those different tools that we use and not always listed in feet, inches, miles, and yards. It's only listed in the inches, or it's only listed in the feet or yard or mile, and we need to be able to convert between that. Unlike the metric system, we don't make it so easy, where all you have to do is step. There's some magic numbers that you need to remember. So the magic number that needs to exist between inches and feet, hopefully it's all running through your mind and you're all shouting it right now. That magic number that you need to remember is 12, sorry. And when you're talking about feet to yard, the magic number, I hope you're all raising your hand and screaming the number 3. And then when you're getting from yard to miles, I hope the number 1,760 is coming to mind. Those are some numbers that you have to memorize here. When we get into the metric system, you don't need to remember all those numbers. But here in the customary unit of measure, we have to remember them. So I want to recall how we had done our chart where we said, okay, if you were going from an inch, and I told you how long something was in inches, but you only accepted your measurements in feet, we would need to be going from inches, and we need to be going from feet, or 2 feet. And we need to remember, when we're doing that, it seems weird that we're going from something small from something to big. So you would assume that your numbers are going to get larger. However, the numbers are going to get smaller. So we have 2 different keys on a calculator we could press. We have the division or the subtraction. Got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. And I see everyone's hand shooting up in the air, and I know that you all remembered division. So if you are going from inches to feet, do not forget that you need to divide by 12. Then we've got the magic thing of going from feet to yards. So again, magic number you need to remember, there's 3, and you're going from something large like the foot to something even larger like the yard. So again, you'd think you would multiply, but no, you need to divide. And same thing when you're going from yard to mile, you need to do that magic thing of divide. Now there's a couple in here that I did not include. One of them we had, well, to get from the inch to the yard, there's a magic number that you needed to remember. Not quite as old as I am in size. It's the magic number of 36. And remember again, to get from something like the inch, something small, to something large, like the yard, you need to divide. Now, let's go on and undo what we have done. So, we want to go back from the measurement of mile to yard, or from yard to feet, or from feet to inches. You have to remember those magic numbers, but luckily they just go back and forth. So the magic number between miles and yards is the 1,760. And you're going from something small to, or from something big to something small. So it would seem only right to divide. However, you got to think that it takes a lot of feet to equal a mile, or a lot of yards to equal a mile. So in order to make a number grow, you need either to add or you need to multiply. So to get from miles to yards, you're going to simply take your number and you're going to multiply it by 1,760. To get from your yard to your feet, your magic number that you need to have memorized here in the customary, because we don't make it easy, is the magic number of 3. And you need to remember that you have to multiply. And again, to get from feet to inches, your magic number you need to remember is 12. And you need to remember you need to multiply. So we had created an index card that looked like this. The index card was not written horizontally. It was, or not written vertically. We wrote it horizontally. But this is just a little review. If you have an extra piece of paper, you can pause my video at this time, copy this down if you would like, so you can reflect back on it. Or on the pages that we're going to be doing next, you are going to be able to write those on there. So when you're getting there, you'll see that I have these pages written out for you. I just screenshotted them. You do have the capability, if you go on to PlanBook, where you can print these off and you can work on them right there. Or maybe if you can't print them off, you can get out a piece of line paper and just copy down the basic numbers that you need. Like maybe you want to just copy down this information here, and we'll fill in the blanks, because the story problem isn't something you need to write out. You can just write down these numbers and then you can reflect back and do it. So let's go back through, and we're talking about Sydney's dog. She named it Jeff. And this puppy, unlike all other dogs that I've ever known, enjoys the water. Most dogs don't enjoy running out swimming and getting all wet. Or maybe they do, and coming out and shaking and throwing the water all over the place. I don't know. But anyway, this dog has jumped 7 yards. Well, to me, I don't like to measure in yards. I personally like to measure in feet. So, we need to know, in order to convert between feet and yards, we need to remember that magic number. And that magic number, which they put for us down here, is that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So to figure out to get from yards to feet, down here they took your 7 yards that you have, and they multiplied it, because you're going from something large like the yard to something small like the foot, and they used the magic number 3. And 7 times 3, if you put your finger on your 7, put your finger on your 3, find the intersection, or use your calculator, you would find out is the number 21. Or if you remember, we did it this way. We did 7 yard equals blank feet, and we drew that line, and we put the times 3 on there. So that's just another way you can do it. And 21 is not your final answer. You need to answer that there are 21. Let me erase this here. There are 21 feet in 1 yard. So down here they drew out a picture for you. They drew out the two big candy bars. They cut them up into nice wonderful chunks. First one they cut up into feet, second one they cut up into yards. They knew that when they cut up the yards they needed to make 7 chunks. And then they also knew that each chunk got 3 pieces, so you have your 1 yard chunk here, and they knew that they needed to have 3 feet chunks in there, and then they just continued, okay, here's another chunk for the yard, 3 more lines, and all the way across, and then they went back and counted and figured out that they got 21. So if you have a dog that enjoys jumping, and he jumps 7 yards, but you are not one who enjoys working with yards, then you would say that he jumps 21 feet. You're saying the same exact thing, except one is in feet, one is in yards. Let's go on to the next page here where it says convert 3.5 feet to inches. Well, this is something we might need a calculator for. This walks it through one way, and then we'll go back to the way that I had reviewed with you. So first it's saying you need to convert your feet that you have, and you need to convert them into inches. So what it says is it reminds you that 1 foot equals 12 inches, and they say that you have 3 feet, so they take your 3 feet and they times it by your 12 inches. And when we get 3 times 12, we end up with the number 36. Now what it's saying is that up here, you don't have a whole foot. You actually only have part of it. You have half. So what it is saying is 1 foot here, down here on number 2, it's saying that 1 foot equals 12 inches. Well, we don't have the whole foot, so we're going to cut that foot in half. So they took their 12, and they sliced it down the middle, and they found out that half of the 12 was 6. So you got 36 inches, and you got 6 inches. So the only way to figure out what the total is altogether, you need to add, and if we get 36 plus 12, we end up with 42. So there are 42 inches and 3.5 feet. The method that I had showed you, which might be easier than going through all these steps, is we had simply written 3.5, and we put that was feet, and we set it equal to blank inches, and we simply drew again our arrow, and we put in, to get from feet to inches, you need to multiply, and the magic number you need to multiply by is 12. So you would find out that 3.5 feet times 12 equals 42 inches. Let's go down here to the bottom to the guided practice. I want you to take a few moments, try to do these by yourself, and then I will come back. Please pause this, and then I'll come back and talk you through it, and we'll see if you got these right. Alright, so I hope you paused it and took your time to go through and try these problems, but we're going to go through this. Down here in this box here first, it wants us to take our inches and compare it to our feet. So if we have 1 foot, how many inches do we have? We can go back to the previous page where it listed to us here on the top, or go back even further and look for it up here. So I'm going to go back, and I need to remember that the magic number between feet and inches and 12 is 12. So if I have my 1 foot, I must have 12 inches. And then it wants me to put it here in parentheses that we have 12 to 1. If we have 2 feet, we need to take 2 and we didn't multiply it by 12, which would give us 24. So it wants us to write that as 24 to 2. 3 feet, again, we need to be thinking we're going from something large to something small, so we need to multiply. And our magic number is 12, and if you did 3 times 12, you would have ended up with 36. So it wants us to simply put it in this family of 36 to 3. And down here, 4, if you took 4 times 12, you would have ended up with 48. So, for 48 inches, you have 4 feet. Down here on the next one, it's taking us from inches and it wants us to put it in yards. We can again come back here to this page and reflect up here where it tells us, or we can go back here. We did fill it in. We filled in the magic number from inch to feet, or inch to yard was 36. So we're going to go back here to this page here, and we need to remember that inches is in yards. So we're going from inches and we're going from something larger to the yard. We need to be thinking division. So we need to take 36 and we need to divide it by the magic number that we needed to remember here in the customary, because you got lots. You should have remembered 36. 36 divided by 36, last time we checked, is 1. So we have our family of 1 yard equals 36 inches. Alright, for this next one down here, they say we have 108 inches. How many yards do we have? Again, what we need to memorize is we need to memorize our magic number of 36. And we also know we're going from something small like the inch to something large like the yard. So we need to be doing division. Be honest with you, I paused this video, I ran and I got my calculator and I came back. And I put in 108, and I divided by 36 and I got 3. One of those magic things that we have, remember, is we all have calculators out there. So I want you to use them when you have the chance. I also want you to practice trying to not use the calculators, because there might come a time where you're not going to have your phone with you or you won't have a calculator. So it's going to be best that you have it here. So please try to do these on paper, pencil, or do the mental math. If you can't though, do not be afraid to go get your calculator, because I just had to do it myself too. So if we come over here, it wants us to list it as 3 yards equals 108 inches. Next one here says we have 216 inches, and it wants us to convert it into yards. So we would take 216, and we did divide it by 36. And if you did it correctly, you should have ended up with the magic number 6. So it wants us to list that 6 yards is equal to 216 inches. And then for the last one, we need to take the number 252 and divide it by our magic number of 36 that we need to memorize. And we would get 7. So we have 7 yards equals 252 inches. So we did a lot today. We did a quick review of the index card that we had created. We then went in here and we did the Math in My World, and then we came over here and we did the guided practice and the example. So I'm going to call that a day right now. If you go on to my plan book, you will be able to see that I do have the other pages uploaded. You can go ahead and look at them. They're the independent practice. It's 2-sided. You have the front, which is just simple. Here's your problem set up for you. And then on the back side, it's giving you real life scenarios and word problems. Go ahead and give those a shot. Then we'll go over them tomorrow. I'll have another video that I'll post for you. And don't forget that at 2 o'clock I'm going to have a Zoom opened. Hopefully you're able to get on there. And if you have any questions about them or you don't quite understand, please don't be afraid to ask. So hope you have a good day. Enjoy. Hope you're enjoying everything. And I will talk to you later.